So this was posted yesterday, and it was from a day or two before that in Davos. There was a German diplomat who was making some crazy statements. Now, everybody wants the war in Ukraine to end. Well, not everybody. Putin might not, but I mean, in the West, we want it to end, and we want it to end justly. But this suggestion was just like I can't even believe that it was floated as a suggestion. And just tell me what you think about this. This is coming from a German diplomat. Okay, let's hear what he has to say.
We should always honor the principle of in together, out together, if we want to be together in NATO. If we want to be divisive, the idea of sending Europeans into Ukraine and keeping the Americans out is a recipe for disaster. I can tell you now that there will be people who will write the headlines, oh, we're supposed to play the role of the Americans, North Koreans. We're going to be sent into the battle. What are we supposed to, I mean, our European soldiers, what are they supposed to do exactly if at some point Russia starts aggressing again?
Okay, let's stop there for a second. So first, the Americans, Trump doesn't want to be sending American peacekeepers into Ukraine. So that's not something that he's like has an appetite for to begin with. And then he's going to admit like, oh, we just can't do it ourselves. Why not? You're Europe. You got to step up into and defend Europe. You need to take the prime ownership of this. But then he's also talking about like what happens when he starts aggressing again. You're fully expecting him to start aggressing again. Like that's the crazy thing. And we're not thinking about how to stop this in a significant, permanent kind of way, rather than talking about what happens if he starts doing this again.
If America is not also on the ground there in Ukraine, and if an American president, doesn't have to be Donald Trump, will say, I told you this is a European issue, you handle it. We cannot handle it. We don't have the power. We don't have the deterrence capability, etc.
Okay, so but the question is why not? And so the MAGA wing in the United States is going to say, well, because you've been spending on your social policies instead of actually building your deterrence like you should be by hiding under our wing, and we can't afford to do that anymore. Now, I'm not saying that we should be doing that. I think we should be participating in the world and making sure that bad things don't happen. I'm not an internationalist, but I fully recognize that we can't put our heads in the sand at the same time. So I'm not advocating for the MAGA wing, but I am saying that you've got to step up in Europe and actually do that. Now, some countries are stepping up headlong, and good on you for doing that. And I appreciate everyone that's done this, but this guy has some crazy ideas. Now, first, Putin doesn't want your Western European peacekeepers in Ukraine. That's a worse scenario for him than just having Ukrainians in Ukraine. Do you really want to invite NATO into Ukrainian territory? I don't think he wants to do that. So he has an alternative solution.
In other words, what I would suggest is that there should be maybe some European troops, but I think you made the key point. It takes a lot of imagination to think of a situation where Vladimir Putin would agree to a ceasefire or peace settlement that would involve the stationing, the actual deployment of troops from NATO countries, including France, Germany, UK, etc., in Ukraine.
He doesn't want that. That's pretty clear. We can understand why he wouldn't want that.
Might as well agree to NATO membership if he does that. In other words, my solution would be troops from India. As a German, I would say troops from China. Putin is not going to start a war against Chinese troops on the Ukrainian side.
How comfortable do you think that the Ukrainians would be with extra troops on their land that in order to keep the Russians out? Let's bolster it with Chinese troops. This is one of the bad crap craziest ideas that I have heard floated about how to conclude the war since things have begun.
Troops from Indonesia, troops from Brazil, and of course maybe some European troops, but not dividing NATO.
Wow. Okay. So this is the kind of genius stuff that is just it's a non-starter. It's not going anywhere. There's no possible way. But tell me what you think about it. Like this was actually seriously offered as a suggestion at Davos. Put that in the comments below. Thank you for your time, the likes, the shares, and the subscribes, and thank you for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.